This Sex Chronicles chapter 30 verses 7 is going to be something else, brothers. I want y'all to get ready. Real talk. You're going to understand why people go through different relationships, all for the wrong reasons. And people don't tell when they're out there sleeping with other people. But somehow you find out. Peep the game, brothers and sisters. People are not who they seem to be. They're putting on a performance. This is Sex Chronicles chapter 30, verses 7. We going in today, baby. I warned you. Didn't I? You're not ready for this because I can feel the energy. You're denying it because you want to hide behind those closed doors. You want to hide behind this wall of lies and generations of curses and lies. Do you want to heal yourself? Heal yourself. Constructive discipline. Snap out of your behavior, your obnoxious behavior. Peace, 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 brothers and sisters. Sex Chronicles chapter 30, verses 7. We're still in the phase of relationships, also the behaviors of promiscuous people who pretend to act like they got your back or they love you. They would tell you, I love you so much. I love you so deeply. Listen here, I've been through all that. Even my own relationships back in the days. Women talking about, I love you, Denzel, so much. And I used to be like this here. Just look at him. Because I didn't know what the fuck love was. So you telling me this shit. I responded in a non-fashion way because the love that I understood by watching my mother and father, you don't got that shit. You don't have that type of love. My mother stayed with my father till the day he died. You ain't got that type of fucking commitment. You don't practice monogamy. You don't practice submission. You don't know what long suffering is. No, you fucking in that bedroom. You fucking. But after that fucking, you don't want to hear the man talk. You don't want to hear him like, this motherfucker's stupid. He's weak. He's this. He's that. He ain't making no real money. Even with money and the power of the level of status quo. I've showed you the video of Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. So money don't mean a goddamn thing. Let's make that clear. Before we get into it, let's pay all due respects to the Creator. The sun rises. Hotep, Ashe. Let's get into it. Now, in verse 6, towards the end of the video, I showed you Mike Tyson. What happened to him between him and Robin Givens, right? What I want to do now is show you the after effects. Years later, let's see if Mike Tyson's still talking the same way. Because I can't just do my man Mike Tyson wrong like that. Nah. Always been an inspiration. I don't give a fuck. People go through shit in their life. But question is what they do when they come out on the other side. Peep the game. Let's peep it. God damn it.
I didn't really catch them in the act. Maybe before right before the act.
Okay.
What happened?
Just spill the tea, Mike.
Go.
I'm trying to spill the tea and still keep my dignity in it.
Right.
So, and keeping my dignity, I mean, when I was driving before I go to my divorce lawyer, I decided to go by the house that we lived in, and get a rump session before I go back and tell my lawyer these are bad people. Everybody does that.
Right, okay.
You did that when you get divorced? When you got divorced, you did that. You went back.
Got divorced.
No, listen.
Don't say yes.
But if you're not divorced, if you're going through divorce and you're not divorced, but you don't have anybody, you go back.
And you still kind of get it out a little bit.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Who had let that out? Now we go back to the lawyers. So I was about to do that. That's what I wanted to do. Okay.
Understood. Got it.
Clean my pipes before I go. Not those kind of pipes, okay?
We got it.
We smoke too, okay?
Yeah.
No, okay. Anyway, smoke, yeah. But listen, so I said I thought I'd go there, and then I said nobody's there, and as I'm getting ready to leave to go to my car, it's her car to come out, the BMW. I knew it was her car because I bought the car.
All right.
So I knew it was her car.
Okay.
You bought one too. I can tell you that fine girl. She ain't with you. You bought a car too. You bought something equivalent to nice. Oh, anyway, so when I saw the car come, I think maybe it's her and one of her girlfriends from the show, but it's not. It's a guy. And then I got mad and of course I'm jealous at that time, a little bit now too, but still, when the car came and she saw me, Michael! And he didn't see me, he had hey dude, he had my right hand on the guard, but anyway, we met each other and stuff, and that was my first engagement. He's a really nice guy.
Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna show you some video about Mike Tyson. And I want you to see the response, how Robin Givens act. Peep the game.
Playing you in a movie called Finding Mike. It's finally happened. We talked about it last time you were on the show, and so now it's finally happening.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be really interesting, me observing myself.
I went and got the book that he wrote, and I was reading it, and there were so many things. I didn't see the one-man show, but I heard about that are so not true that it's hard not to feel deeply disturbed by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in a way, I hope I'm stronger because of this or going through this process, but it's a little upsetting. You have the Me Too movement, and things that used to be acceptable to do to women or to say about women, I don't think are necessarily acceptable now. And I think to be on the other end of what I've experienced and to have somebody say, oh, the best punch I ever threw was against Robin, and she bounced from one wall to the next and was out. I'm literally praying that those things, we're in a climate where it's not acceptable. It's not rewarded. It's not congratulated. And that's something that truly means a lot to me, not only for myself, but for a lot of women that have been and are in the position that I was in.
Zoe says Mike doesn't deserve a second chance. Arila says Robin is the exemplary gold digger. I've been leashing off Mike since the 80s. Jennifer says Mike is cool. MF says love this Mike. But yeah, I mean, how do you approach this? Do you just not put a Robin character in the movie? Like, what do you do? Because he's such a problematic figure.
My thing is you have to speak Mike's truth, but you can't glorify domestic violence, period. I think it's unfortunate for Robin if you are a victim of that. If you feel like this subject is just difficult to be confronted with all the time in the media, then to now have a movie, and then it's played by Jamie Foxx, who's an incredible actor. You just don't want your story to be told incorrectly or glorified. Your pain should never be glorified in any way. I think that, they owe Robin and they owe the domestic violence community honesty and information. So yeah, I think that they need to talk about it. I definitely think they should talk about it. You can't just not talk about it. That would be completely bypassing a huge part of history.
Yeah, and I don't think that I don't think if it was left up to Mike Tyson that he would want it left out, because he's talked about it. If you read his book or seen his one-man show, there's a lot of things that he's done that he admits to, and doesn't feel proud about. This just kind of goes back to, it is a biopic, and you're going to glorify somebody because you can't not glorify Mike Tyson with some of the career that he had, but you just hope that this is one of those difficult stories to tell, but that doesn't mean that you should.
Now, there's a lot that I agree with, a lot. And I agree with the point that you don't glorify beating a woman. I agree with that. You do not glorify beating a woman. Now, the only problem I got with that is 30 years later, Robin Givens, you was on a talk show, an interview, where you destroyed your husband. You destroyed your husband. You didn't care about how he was going to respond and how he was going to live his life. See, this is the things I tell you about relationships. You shouldn't be in no relationship at all. If you're not practicing monogamy, submissive, and long-suffering, you got to practice it. It's no way in the world you're going to be able to make it. And money doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You might think that it does. It do not. Unfortunately, whatever she went through, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you what I do know. Robin Givens' career was never the same. 30 years ago, the shit she did at that point in time to Mike Tyson on the Barbara Walters show, her career literally defaulted. She was on top of her game. She was on top of her game. She did hit a little movies here and there, and a damn a couple of B movies, but they wasn't worth shit. But people don't understand. When black women do shit like that, their pain and their default is not. It's completely different with white women. It's completely different. But you try to destroy the heavyweight champion of the world. And in the end, her career was never the same. Never. I believe she had a baby by a white man, if my memory serves me correctly. I believe so. She ain't with that man either. She not with that man. Let's move on. Let's move forward away from that. Sometimes when I think about how people they sold out. Sold out. Let's move on forward. Before we move on, I just want to show this one video so we get a clarification about Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. This is why I tell you, you don't believe in no relationship. You don't belong in a relationship. There's always an underhand on why people do what they do. What you marrying somebody for? You too young to be doing that. Because somehow you wind up divorced or some kind of destructive behavior takes place. But let's get into it. Let's find out why Mike Tyson got caught up in the game. And then we move on. This is Sex Chronicles, chapter 30, verses 7. I warned you. Beat the game.
Welcome to The Fumble. I'm Crystal Marine. In his forthcoming memoir, Mike Tyson is making some pretty shocking claims about his ex-wife, Robin Givens. The former heavyweight champion and the actress wed in 1988, but Tyson admits he immediately knew the nuptials were a mistake. In his memoir, Undisputed Truth, he writes, quote, "I should have known something was up. I didn't know that Robin and her mother Ruth had been on the prowl for a big black celebrity for Robin since she graduated college. She was supposedly 3 months pregnant when we got married. Now it was June and she hadn't gained a pound. So the next thing I knew, she was in bed and claimed she had miscarried our baby. Tyson claims that Robin and her mother capitalized on his low self-esteem. He goes on to describe the confrontation with Brad Pitt, whom Robin had started dating before ending her marriage to Iron Mike. Tyson says Pitt begged him not to kick his butt. You had to see the look on his face, writes Tyson. He looked like he was ready to receive his last rites. He also looked stoned out of his gourd. Undisputed Truth hits stores November 12th. For more on your favorite athletes, visit us at thefumble.com. And don't forget...
Even though I'm moving away from this, but I got to give you my input. Once again, here we talking about, this is what I keep telling you. Robin Givens and her mama, but we knew this. We heard about this years ago. That Robin Givens' mother, and then they displayed it anyway. Displayed the whole thing. Look for somebody with money who's rich. But these are the things nobody talks about. These are the things they talk about, how the woman coerced her daughter into finding a black celebrity, and they found the perfect subject, Mike Tyson, 1988. Didn't sign a prenup, so they got him, took full control because of his self-esteem. And nobody wants to talk about that. Sex Chronicles chapter 30, verses 7. We're about to move on. But it's a damn shame. You see, when white women did that, they went to lawyers. They went to court. You see it on the news that the two couples was battling, and then that was it. You might have heard of this person got $30 million, but it wasn't explored so deep that every little detail was out up in the front. And that's what I'm talking about. It's a damn shame. And here today, 2021, now it has escalated because of social media. We got so many platforms, and everybody now in the black melanin race with a camera sniping, shoot, and literally going through an emotional process, which I'm going to show y'all. Emotional process of talking about an individual, but not admitting to their own demise, their own selfish acts. And this is why I keep telling you, what are you getting married for? And at the end, you heard that Robin Givens got with Brad Pitt, when Brad Pitt was like, he wasn't nobody at the time. Quickly ran to the white boy. I mean, you do what you want, I don't really give a shit. But quickly ran to the white boy. Peep the game. How that sister, we pointing her out. That black woman, because all black women is not the same. All black men are not the same. So we're going to make sure, single her out. That black woman tried to destroy Mike Tyson, the heavyweight champion, at that point in time. Oh, he paid the price now. We already know what happened in him. But let's move on, because we don't need to get into that another time. I'm going to show you a video. Peep the game. Let me keep my mouth quiet. I want you to see this next video, and then we're going to break it down.
Okay, sir. You proved your point. I'm too drunk for this. Me too. Oh, shit. That is my mama's get out of Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Batman. Period. He like, oh. Saving God from bitch. Girl. I don't know how you I'm mad y'all didn't record him.
I did. I got it.
Let me go.
He definitely. I saw. He just think about the
Now peep the game. Peep the game. Peep the game, brothers and sisters. Peep the game. Where those women was at? They said, happy birthday, baby. She in her underwear, or I guess a swim outfit. She wasn't a little woman, now was she? She was a big woman. He can't pick you up, so he picked her up. Boom. Went down, squatted, and brought her up, as you can see. Who mama's that? Is all her kids grown? And whatever one or two of them are her daughters. Huh? Now that woman behaving like that out there in the street, and next you know she want a relationship. But you see how after he lifted her up, she act like she couldn't stop touching him. Because at that moment in that time, she wanted him to fuck the shit out of her. Because she go, he's strong than a motherfucker. You see how he turned around, she walked away talking about my big ass. He looked at her, smacked her right on her big ass. To let her know, you can get this dick. You can get this dick. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. You think she'll tell the next guy she want to be in a relationship with? That shit'll be in her mind. She get with the next guy, or if she has a boyfriend, that's a big if. Because she said, did you videotape that? She said, yeah, I videotaped the girl. Look at this. And she looked at it and go, yeah. So that means she can analyze it and study it. Because the next dude that she get with, he ain't gonna know if he don't pound that pussy out or freak her. She gonna be thinking about my brother right here, the one in the Batman face mask. Beat the game. Relationships? Nah. Even in a woman in an older phase, she still could be a freak. Still have sexual desires. As you can see, it was exploited easily. But here's the thing, I say it again, and I'll say it again and again. What happens if she decides she wants to get into a relationship? She ain't gonna tell that motherfucker what she was doing. And what's even more crazy, they put that shit on motherfucking in the internet. So hypothetically, it's possible that he could wind up seeing that shit. She wasn't in full clothing. She wanted everybody to see. Did she have a nice body? Yeah, she thick than a motherfucker, but her body was nice. But she didn't care. It was her birthday. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Sex Chronicles, chapter 30, verses 7. I know you wasn't expecting that. I told you I wasn't going to tell you nothing. I just want you to see for yourself. So when you think that I'm talking to you and try to listen and how things happen on a daily basis, wherever we are at, that was pure evidence. Everybody else had their clothes on, and obviously it was cold outside because they had on coats. But she didn't have her coat on. Either that was a swim outfit or she was in her fucking underwear. I think it was a swim outfit. Beat the game. And it was even more crazy if that was her daughters taking pictures of her, videotaping, hypothetically. So we already know where that's going. When women see men like that, they go crazy. They go crazy. Don't get it twisted. Oh my God, I want to put that big dick in me. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him fool you. I'm going to show you a little bit more. Hold on. But let me make something clear. They didn't have on coats. No, they didn't have on coats. They didn't have on coats. It was in the summertime, so I apologize for that. They didn't have any coats on. What I'm going to show you, I want you to see all these women who go to these places, and you husbands, girlfriends, boyfriends, whoever you are, they go there. Peep the game. Because a lot of you still slow. And you in your little relationships, and you spending your money, and you talking about, I love you, boo. Here's your boo at. Peep your boo. Now, just before we get off of Sex Chronicles chapter 30, verses 7, I told you we're going to get a little deeper. I'm going to see you in verse 8. Won't be tonight. See, we're going to flip between a psychological extreme. Then I flipped it over to the physical extreme. You see all them women that was there? Drinking, having a good time? See, when your girl says, oh, I'm going to go out with the girls tonight. We're going to play spades. And your silly ass fall for that. Huh? They up in there rubbing up on those men like that. Giving them their money. Yeah, you might have gave them $300 that night. Because she said she need $300. And that $300 is paying the rent for that man. But you don't know that. You don't know that shit at all. Because you too slow. So what you in a relationship for? Is your relationship that important? Nah. Games are being played. Generations of lies and curses. Ain't nobody telling no truth up in here. That's real talk. They're not telling the truth. But they're doing what they want. They're going to say, you be going to the places where the women be at shaking their ass. But they do it too. But they don't want you to know their little dirty little secrets. Your relationship? They'll say, me going to that place helps my relationship. She thinking about that other nigga with the 12-inch motherfucking cock. Get the fuck out of here. Just don't let those kind of games be played like a sucker. How are you gonna heal when we continue lying, I'm sure I'm in Ra. See you. Verse 8. Sex Chronicles chapter 30 verses 8. See ya, but it won't be tonight. Beat the game.